Hello friends, welcome to Coffee with Sumeet Jain. On public demand, a lot of people have requested from other countries which are English speaking countries, also from South India, that they would like to hear about why the Chinese are never fat and how to become slim permanently. So I am going to make this video in English for all these viewers. Now, please understand one thing, that it is very ironical that the Chinese, they eat so much that you cannot imagine in your life, but they are never fat. And I have brought a lot of Chinese to India. They moved around, they have seen India like nobody else has ever seen. And they find one thing which is strange, is that everybody in India they find is very fat. We've been to countries like UK, America, we've taken groups there also for workshops. But we find generally people are fat. And we don't understand, they are so civilized countries, everything is so upmarket, but on health point of view, they are so weak. So this video is for all those people who really want to become slim, eat whatever you want, but remain slim or become slim permanently. You might have tried a lot of things. Whatever I'm going to tell you is also certain things you might have heard before, but you never know whether it will work or not. Believe me, all these things which I'm going to share with you is not my formulas. It is not to sell something. It is only to give you the Chinese formula of remaining slim all their life. You will hardly see a Chinese who is fat. There must be something they are doing right. So that is exactly what I'm going to share with you. Now, I'm not a tourist in this country. I live here, I work here, and I've been living for a very, very long time. And because of their formulas, I eat the way I want to eat, and I never ever increase my weight. It always remains very stable, or rather it also comes down. Let's start. The first thing is Chinese. They feel that they have taken this knowledge from India, our ancient practices. You remember that Buddhism, it was transferred from India to China. Along with Buddhism, our culture also was transferred, and they have adopted while the Indians have forgotten, because we started following the Western world and their style of living and eating, and that is where our health has gone down. Traditionally, Indians were never fat, but now everybody has become like that. So what is it the Chinese are doing different? Let's start and delve into this most important chapter. The first thing, the Chinese right from childhood have been given the knowledge of what to eat, what not to eat. Means every Chinese, they know, every food has its own properties. Something is traditionally cold, something is hot. Food items, for example, apple, we say is a cold item. So when you are eating cold items in a cold weather, it gives problems to your body. Body has to make more efforts. So when you're making more effort, then you start becoming fat. Very simple example is vodka and beer. In summers, if you take vodka, it will disturb your health. But if you take it in winters, it can be a medicine. And beer taken in summers, not in winters. Now, I'm not advocating taking beer or vodka. I'm not doing all those things. Just trying to tell you, they are conscious of these things. Second thing is they're also conscious of their health. You will find Chinese always looking at their weight, how much they have increased. If 500 grams also is increased, they'll immediately go for walking or cycling. Something is there, which activity, which brings that weight down. And also they will eat certain foods, which I will also explain you in this video. So first is the knowledge. Second part, one is knowledge of the food. Second is eating according to weather. Summers, they will eat certain foods and not other foods. So every day morning when they get up, the first thing they see is what is the weather today. And according to that, they shift their food items. You can go and Google online. If you cannot find it, you can tell me. I'll create another video for you telling you which foods to eat according to the Chinese, and you can follow it up. Third thing, they eat a very balanced food. They take care that when they are making food or when they're eating food, it has proteins, vitamins, and carbohydrates in balanced quantities. And I've met many Chinese. They say that their food should have three colors: yellow, red, and green. If these three colors in your food are there, that means it's a balanced food. Okay. Next thing, Chinese. Do you know how to eat with chopsticks? If you do not know, start learning it, because there is a reason for it. Chopsticks, they have created such a difficult thing to eat with chopsticks, but there's a reason. Because with chopsticks, you cannot lift too much food, very little quantity. Because when you take little quantity and put it in your mouth, it's easier to chew. But if your mouth is full, half of the food is unchewed and it goes down. And the Chinese always say that we have teeth in our mouth, not in our stomach. So when the body, the stomach, has to make too much of effort to chew the food, it starts becoming fat. So the trick is to chew the food, eat small quantities. If you cannot use chopsticks, use a very small teaspoon to eat. Don't use big spoons. Then the quantity going into your mouth will be less. You will have more time to chew it. And please be patient when you're eating food. Don't gulp it. When you gulp, the more effort stomach has to make, and that is why we are becoming fat. You cannot imagine how much food the Chinese eat. They're eating double or triple quantity than you. We in the Western world or India also, we eat 3 times a day. Chinese, they eat 5 to 6 times a day and still remain very, very slim. Why? Because of this principle of eating slowly, chewing the food, and not gulping the food. All right. Now the fifth point, which is different from us, is that they eat a very limited quantity of everything. For example, in India we have when we go to somebody's place, they will offer you some snacks, some tea. And when the snacks come, I find some people, they just keep on eating and eating, they cannot stop. We find some cashews or something is lying there, just keep on eating, unlimited. Chinese will never do that. They're very particular. 5 pieces, not more than 5 pieces of cashews if they have to eat, means even the consciousness is right there from childhood, how much to eat and what to eat. I remember my wife, she always tells me that lychee is not good for us because it creates moisture. She never lets me eat more than 7 pieces. Can you imagine knowing how many is the maximum limit of something to eat? A lychee, not more than 7, because it creates moisture. That moisture starts accumulating in the body, and when the water is stuck in the body, what happens? It starts gathering disease, and that is where we have problems in the body. We start having body aches also. They will never do that. So right from childhood, they are told what to eat, when to eat, how much to eat. This knowledge is important. You can search it. Otherwise, you can tell me in the comment section. I will create a video especially for that. Next, sixth point, what they do is, which is different. They never take soup after eating solid food. For example, like in India, we have rice with some kind of a soup we call dal, beans, which is liquidy. They will never do that. They say the soup has to be taken before the solid food comes. After you've taken the soups, then you have some rice or you have some bread with some beans or maybe dry beans. Otherwise, you avoid the dry beans. You take some vegetable or some meat. But never ever take soup or anything liquid after solid food has come on your table. Now the reason is, when you have soup or dal or maybe beans or anything liquid along with solid food, it increases your blood sugar, and that starts increasing your weight. You avoid this, immediately the remarkable difference will start coming to your health, the stomach and everything. Seventh point, the Chinese, they never eat food which is too hot or too cold. Sometimes we don't have time. We come from office or maybe somewhere. We come home, we find that the food is not there, but there's some leftovers from the last meals, and the food is cold in the refrigerator. Because we are so hungry and we cannot wait, I myself have been doing it. Take out that food and eat immediately from the refrigerator. And if the food is not there, we find some fruits are lying in the refrigerator which are very cold. We start eating it. Chinese will never do that because they feel that, and so secondly, they never use cold drinks or cold water along with their food. In China, you go to somebody's house and you ask for ice. They start looking at you, what is this item? Because they do not have ice in the whole country. You go anywhere, you can find hot water, warm water, but you will never find cold water. Why? Because they know that the cold food actually disturbs your stomach's energy. In China, there's a word called qi. That qi means the central force of energy. Everything starts from the stomach. And this is where, the fire is there to burn your food, to make it into energy and make blood and everything. They say when you put cold water, you are actually putting off that vital energy force which is in your stomach. And that is why the stomach has to make a lot of efforts and it starts becoming bigger. Chinese are very particular on not too hot, because if it is too hot, it again adds on to the fire which is not required. Whatever fire we require in the stomach, the nature has already given us. We don't need to add anything on it or to put it off. So not too hot, not too cold. In China, when you go to a restaurant, you will never find food which is too hot. It will always be lukewarm, about 50 to 60 degrees temperature, so that it is easy for you to eat. It doesn't burn your mouth and it doesn't burn your stomach. 8th point is that very less salt. You see, Chinese have a saying that our body is like an ocean. It leaves those things which our body doesn't need. For example, you throw something into the ocean. After some time, you will find the ocean throws it out from the ocean. Same way, our body also leaves those things which are unnecessary in the body. I'll give you a very simple example. When we exercise or when we sweat, when we go out in the hot weather and we sweat, the sweat, what is it that the body is throwing out with the sweat? It's always salt. Body doesn't leave oil or sugar from a body. It leaves salt, because salt is something which the body does not need in too much quantity. So what the Chinese do is, they say that this is something which our body doesn't need. Why to have it? They will use very, very less salt or no salt at all in their food. They'll use pepper, black pepper. They will use some kind of light chilies to give the taste, but salt will be either zero or it's like 1% to what we are having in outside world. That is why they remain thin. Now, another logic for salt. They feel, their studies also says, because they have a lot of extensive study on human body. They say when we have salt, then the salt inside, it starts absorbing the fat, it starts absorbing the sugar, and that is where we start becoming fat. But if the salt is not there, even if you eat sugary food, it will not make you fat. They don't have sugar food also, they never eat sweets, but salt is the one which is the troubling factor, not the sugary food. Okay, so no cold, not too hot, and zero salt. If you can do it, it will take some time, I understand, but it is not impossible. Now, there is another thing which we always keep on listening from the Western world. We should not eat fried food. I know there are certain therapies where they say you can eat fried food and keto says and stuff like that. I'm not talking about it. But there are a lot of other formulas where they say do not eat fried food. But the Chinese say no problems. You can eat fried food, but try to eat in less quantity. Again, the quantity is important here. With something is not good for the body, eat in controlled quantities. I've seen in India, I come from North India, from a state called Punjab, where people like to eat fried chickens and pakoras and paranthas. What happens? People eat 500 grams, 1 kilo in one go because it is so tasty. Chinese, even if they like it, because they know it is not good for the body, they will not take. This is called self-control, because this has been fed into their mind right from childhood. And something fed into our mind from the childhood, we never forget. And the most important thing in food, after they eat food, they will never sit down. They will immediately eat food, they will stand. They will either stand or they will walk little bit. In China, they have lunch, which is more than 1 hour. They will eat for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes. And after that, they will go for a walk, even if it is a hot weather outside. They will have a small, very slow strolling around. Why? Because it helps the body to digest. Because otherwise, when you sit down, then it starts accumulating here only, and the body is having to make more effort to digest that food, to let it go down into the intestines and the whole body system. So start walking little bit immediately after taking your meals. Either it is lunch or it is your dinner. Breakfast, I'll explain you later. So stomach has to be given the least effort. Basically, we feel that the stomach's duty is to digest the food and do all these things for us when we leave everything, but we have to also help it to make less efforts. The more effort stomach has to make, the more it becomes bigger and bigger. It's similar like we go to the gym. When we start gymming, any part which we are putting more effort, the muscles start becoming bigger there. Same is with the stomach. When you let your stomach do such hard work on a daily basis, it will start becoming bigger also. Okay. Now breakfast. We in the Western world, they say eat like a king, because in the breakfast time. But Chinese are opposite. They say it is called break the fast. Morning time is the time when our body is very slow. It doesn't need too much food. We don't need parathas and heavy stuff. They will eat steamed food only, nothing else. Very, very light, because they are breaking the fast. When you keep body is light, you give it light food in the morning, then your whole day will remain very, very nice and very light also. This helps you in your work also, and also help the stomach to digest and get accustomed to your routine of now opening up to eating more food. All right. Next point, what Chinese do is they avoid milk products. Now it will be a little bit ironical for you to listening to this, but 12 years back when I came to China permanently to live here, I couldn't find milk and milk products, ghee or butter. These were very, very rare, because traditionally Chinese do not eat and drink milk. They take soya milk, coconut milk, other kind of milk, but they will not take cow milk or buffalo milk, because it is not good for our body. That is heavy on the body also, and it is not good at all when it comes to losing weight. So you take soya milk if possible. Next is they will eat at a very early time. In Jainism, I am a Jain, and in Jainism we say eat food before the sunset. What is the reason behind it? It's a scientific reason. The reason is that when you eat early, you have a lot of time between your food and your sleep time, so that body has time to digest. Sometimes you go out in China, you go at 8 o'clock, you will find that the restaurants have already closed, because people come at 5:30, at 8 nobody comes, so there's closing also. While in India and Europe, you will find that the restaurants start opening at 8, because people sit till 11, 12, go back and sleep immediately. What is the result? We know it is wrong, but we still do it, and that is the reason why we are fat. And there's something new which I've found out in the last 2-3 years, and I'm following it also, and it has helped me to lose weight, and that is using champi water. Now what is champi water is, they have orange skin. The orange skin they dry, for 5, 10 years, even 20 years also. And that skin they use to boil and make tea. That water is known to have magical effects on losing weight. You can eat, they say you eat iron and you have chumpy water, it will digest, it will make you lose weight. So in your countries, wherever you are listening to this video, you can start searching for dry, which is more than 5 years, orange skin, and use it as tea. It is very tasty, you will like it, and it will help you on losing weight. Lastly, friends, Chinese are so particular about their health that every evening you will find them, doing some kind of exercise, and the exercise they do is dancing. You will find even oldies, 80 years old, having a small group of people dancing on the street with some music on so that they can have good health. So it's all about consciousness. Now, these are major points which I wanted to discuss with you. Lastly, the most important one is sitting posture. You will never find a Chinese, sitting with a full chair used. They will never slouch. They will always sit very straight. Why? Because when we like putting down and we are sliding down, we're putting pressure on the back and on the stomach. What happens? Our sides and the stomach starts becoming bigger because there's a pressure of the whole body on that area. But when you sit straight, there's no pressure on the back, you will not have backaches, and there's no pressure on the sides of the stomach and in the front. That is why it never gets bloated up, because we are not putting pressure of the whole body on that area. Sit straight. Chinese will never use the whole chair. They use half the chair, sit in the middle, so that they are not leaning. As soon as you lean back on the chair, you will start slouching and you will start sliding down, and that creates the stomach to become bigger. Now this question I did not cover in my Hindi section. This I'm covering because somebody asked me how to reduce the weight naturally. Not the weight, but the size of the stomach and the sides. I've given you the answer. So friends, you've noted one thing. Losing weight and maintaining your stomach waist size is not a rocket science. It's very simple to do. It's just adopting a new lifestyle. It is something which, either you can change a little bit in your life or keep on living the way you were living and having problems on health, on weight, on the size, on your waistline. Choice is yours. I'm giving you something which is workable. I've seen it practically in my life, and I can assure you, you will see remarkable results right from day one when you start implementing these things. Thank you for watching. In case you need more help on this, on the food items which should be used or which should be eaten, on which weather, or anything else which you would like to learn or know more, let me know in the comment section. Believe me, I listen to all, I read all the comments, and I start making videos according to your request. So all the videos which you see is according to the request given by our brothers and sisters who listen to these videos, and their requests are very important for me because I know the direction in which I have to go. I'm very new to this. I'm not a YouTuber. I'm just very, very new, just sharing something different. You always hear something negative about China. It's not that I have love for this country, but I'm living here. I see there are a lot of good things also. There are a lot of bad things also. I explain and I discuss the bad things of this country or something's wrong which this country has done, so that we don't do the same mistakes as they have done. But there are certain good things also. I discuss both. Choice is yours. Opinions are yours. I listen to a lot of people saying that, oh, you are a CCP agent here in China, so and secondly, you are in a very restricted country, you have to speak something very positive for China. It is, you are obliged to do that. Nothing like it. I'm Punjabi. I'll remain a Punjabi. I speak, I eat, I live very freely. It doesn't matter what CCP does here. My job is to show you the reality, whatever it is. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video, but I'll wait for your comments because they are very important, which gives me the direction for the next video. Thank you. Jai Hind.